The purpose of the Stephen Hart Awards is really to identify those organizations that rise above the call of duty and do incredible things to preserve our state's history and our cultural resources. The project that we are honoring CDOT for today is a great example of how CDOT understands that this road system that we all travel on every day is part of the history of our state.
The staff that we have here, 2 archaeologists and 4 historians, recorded literally hundreds and hundreds of historic sites and archaeological sites. Without those, many of those sites would be gone, and what we always want to do is avoid a significant historic property. Whether that's an archaeological site, a highway tunnel, or a residential structure, we need to document what's there. In order to, quote, mitigate the adverse effect that road projects have on significant historic properties, we do such things as historic documentation of the buildings, doing photography. We've done some film projects.
I feel that we've done a tremendous amount of safety work up there.
Far above and beyond what we really need to do for our mitigation projects. History Colorado, and specifically the Office of Archaeology and Historic Preservation, we get a great deal of support from them, and I really want to thank them for the Hart Award.
Aspen identified things that we don't always think of historic. Buildings from the 50s and 60s, many of them built in our lives, and took very proactive steps to save those buildings.
Time was of the essence because we had put so much emphasis on creating the preservation of the Victorians from the 19th century. The Aspen Modern kind of fell into a sort of a secondary position. History Colorado was really instrumental. They helped us provide seed money for the documentation and the cataloging of all these properties. And this Aspen Modern process has now landmarked 11 of the 33 designated buildings in all around the town of Aspen. People can rely on coming here 20, 30 years from now and be able to see these iconic buildings still present in our community, no matter how much development pressure has been put on our community. And other towns all around the state of Colorado, they just have to be bold enough, brave enough to stand up for those wonderful structures that make their town so unique. They don't want to lose them.
We are skiing in the Gothic, Colorado, 9,500 feet in the West Elk Mountains. An old mining town established in about 1879. Now the home of the Rocky Mountain Biological Lab, and has been here since 1928.
They practice what they preach. In this particular instance, they've taken existing historic log cabins and they've recycled those log cabins and are reusing them for their research.
This is what's now called the Old Town Hall. It was renovated early 2000s. It's not very cheap to do these restorations. Without the State Historic Fund, I sincerely doubt that this would have happened. It's been 75 years now in one spot. So the longer you're in a spot, the more you get knowledge of the local history, and I think it sort of makes sense that because they've been here a long time, they are now sort of part of the history, and so they are also able to recognize that preserving history is important.
And it is in every community, in every town that I go into, I see someone working to save what's important to them, what's important to their town, and hopefully what will be important to future generations.